them moving forward.
I like it. So, the main purpose behind accommodating resistance is mainly to really foster, athletes kind of working, explosively through end ranges of motion. So we're looking at accommodating resistance through mainly bands and chains. It was mainly, coined by, Louis Simmons at Westside Barbell. There's a lot of different, manipulations that you can have. We use that a ton whenever we were at Pitt. We use that a ton, whenever I was at Ole Miss as well. And the main premise behind that is making sure that we have explosive athletes, but then also being able to reduce the load to a degree at also given periods of ranges of motion. So, if we're looking at chains and we're looking at a barbell squat, if we're looking at an athlete performing 200 pounds of, let's say, plate weight, and we have 50 pounds of chain weight, through the very top, third to top half of that range of motion, that person is going to be experiencing, the full 250 pounds of a load. However, whenever they get down to the point where, that athlete's in a point of, in a max eccentric, muscle action, let's say at the bottom end of the squat, that, can really cause a lot of muscle damage if you're not careful. You're almost kind of reducing that load because the chains are going to be on the floor, and that's going to kind of cause that reduction in that given external load, so to speak. However, accommodating resistance can provide a lot of benefit just solely from a perspective of, really emphasizing, in terms of like that squat example, really emphasizing triple extension, ideally of the hip and the knee. In terms of a squat, I don't really like athletes coming up, through the ball of their foot, in a squat, especially at their maximal load, but being able to make sure that they focus on being very explosive, mainly at the hip, because that's ultimately going to drive, the action at both the knee and then ultimately at the ankle whenever they happen to be doing a jumping type of movement. And then